Shalom and welcome back to Bnei Noach Academy, Thoughts on the Torah and Life. Please remember to hit the like button, to subscribe, and most importantly, to share this insight and inspiration with friends and family. This is part 3 of our Spy Chronicles. So the question, what could we deduce? What can we take away as a life lesson from the fact that they asked to send these scouts? In other words, we know the end of the story. We understand that the way things turned out, sadly, was not what they hoped for, was not what they projected, and terribly changed the course of history, not only for those people, but for all future generations. But in every aspect of the story, as we discussed in the first installment of this series, there is something to be learned, something to be gleaned, a life lesson. Otherwise, the Torah wouldn't tell it to us. And of course, in this case, the whole reason why this went so sour, why this ended up where it did, all begins with their request, the ask. Please, could we send scouts? Could we go inspect the land prior to our arrival? What is the lesson that we can learn from this? In fact, it's a very important one and a very practical one. Of course, we all believe in God. If you don't believe in God, why are you watching this? You're watching this because you want to learn more. We want to enhance our faith. We want to enhance our certainty in God's ability. The problem is when we become complacent. The problem is, sadly, that too often, knowing that we are believers, knowing that we not only believe that God exists in a general sense, but that literally in a practical sense, he's there in every single detail, we become complacent. We stop paying attention to it. Thus, without us realizing, it can become dormant. And then, yes, we can start asking questions, which when we look in the mirror, or we really listen to ourselves, we say, what? How can I be thinking that way? That sounds like somebody who doesn't believe in God. You're challenging? You're questioning God's abilities? You see, the people who asked for the scouts, they experienced miracles. Miracles unlike you and I ever experienced. We just hear about them. We learn about it in the Torah and the Bible. But we've never seen stuff like that. They have. And yet, they were able to have doubt. There's a verse that says, Urei emuna, which means basically, feed your faith. Faith is like, in a sense, metaphorically, like a human body. You cannot just rely upon the fact that you fed it yesterday or the day before. Think about it. If you ate yesterday, that does not preclude you from being hungry today. Certainly, if you wait another day, by tomorrow, you're going to be starving. By after tomorrow, you're going to be totally famished and lethargic. Why? Because the way God made it is that it needs to be constantly fed. So too is our faith. Of course, we have the principal fundamental faith, but it's not something that you can just take for granted and become complacent about. Rather, you need to feed it all the time. Otherwise, we can end up like these people who saw godliness, who experienced miracles, who were there at Mount Sinai, at the splitting of the sea. They saw the 10 plagues at the exodus of Egypt, ate from the manna, and yet they can have questions like, wow, where are we going? What's it going to be like? How can we manage it? We need to figure this out ahead of time. And that's where they went wrong. So work on your faith, build it up, and keep on feeding it.